Hello, this is Cindy from Cinders Papercraft, bringing you a very easy, well, I think a very easy project. It doesn't take too long either, which means that we're in for an hour tutorial, no doubt. I've made this card and very plain on the inside, but it's a secret gift card holder, but I'm also going to use it to put lottery tickets in, because sometimes you want to give someone a little something, but sometimes you don't have enough money to spend on people, so a lottery ticket in a card is always a nice thing. And rather than just pop it in there, I thought I would put it in a hidden panel. So you could go with that sentiment. I think it's quite ironic and it suits my sense of humour. Or you could go with that one, which I love, which is a punch and stamp set, so you don't need dies. Or you can go with that one, and I think that's fun. I like that one. Or you could go with the very elegant, that one. Right, so with this one you are not going to need any dies. It is a punch, which is the everyday label punch, which is that one. That's new out. But the thing that I like is it's got 2 stamp sets with it already, so you're getting some for your money, but you don't need to have this because it cuts out sentiments as well. But I've gone for this one, which I liked, and I think that comes across very nicely. And I did heat emboss, and that is the envelope. I think if we spend quite some time on our cards, we do at least want to make some effort with that, and I think that's pretty. Right, so all of these have got magnets in, and I can pop that there, and there, when you open that up, is the gift card, and inside it has enjoy, which is kind of fun. But you don't have to have enjoy in there. You could just put Merry Christmas, or write the word surprise in there, or hope you like it, and you can handwrite that, and then your sentiment just goes and hides it again. So I think it's quite neat. I enjoyed coming up with that one. I did enjoy it. Right, so you are going to need your cardstock, which I've gone for black, red and white because I think is classic. So this is just going to be a standard card. So for the Americans, it will be, for the USA and Canada, it will be 5.5 by 8 1/4. For us Europeans, it will be 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. So an A4 cut in half and scored in, cut in half and then scored again. So that is for the inside. And that is 1/8 of an inch difference. So you can see it leaves us a nice border. No, it's 1/4 of an inch difference, which will leave a 1/8 of an inch all the way round. Let's get that right. And then that is just slightly smaller than that layering front there, so it doesn't peek over. Doesn't have to be, you can just have that, trim it a tiny bit. I just given myself a little more room, that's all. You don't need anything special for this. If you don't have a trimmer, then you can use a knife and a ruler. It is really simple. So let's start off with the embossing. I'm going to get brave and do some embossing. If you've watched my videos before, you know I love embossing. I absolutely adore it, and I love the effect, and it never ever gets old. But I cannot stand the feel of embossing powder. I hate it with a passion. It gets everywhere, and yeah, I don't like it. It makes me kind of itchy just thinking about it. So the other day, right, I'm just going to take my Versamark. It's dirty, but it won't show. So just pounce it down lightly, because if you over ink that, it's going to pick up this, and I haven't trimmed mine yet. I will trim around the edges to get rid of that so it doesn't give halos. And you do want to use your embossing buddy. Right, So I'm just going to randomly stamp this down. So the other day I was doing a tutorial, which I still have, but I haven't uploaded. Sorry, this light is terrible, but you can see it if you hold it up. So I thought I would do how to make your word dies go a bit further and make them a metal finish. So I was doing 2 or 3 layers of embossing with obviously the embossing powder, and it was taking forever, and as you can imagine I was getting quite stressed with the amount of embossing powder that was embossing powder. So I thought, oh, do you know, there has to be a different way of doing it. So I went onto Amazon and saw that they'd done an ultra high embossing powder. So just lift it up and see if you've missed anywhere, and I found that they did. So therefore I would use less coats, which is this little guy. Okay, ultra high. So I got it all ready and I took it out of its bag, and there was a piece of paper that saying, important, please read before using. And I thought, I have been crafting for years, I know how to emboss. Why do I need to read that piece of paper? Now, anyone that has used that piece of has used ultra high embossing powder knows what's coming next. Right, so I use a coffee filter. Right, so yes, so I do what I'm doing now. Get it out, sprinkle over my card, shift it around, and once I've taken all the bits off that are on, you know, just hanging around, because you'll get stray bits, I got out my heat gun and made sure it was nice and hot, and then I angled it towards my piece of card, put it down onto the card to heat, and everything flew right across the room. It was amazing. Every single bit of powder came off my piece of card and flew. Flew across my table, and it went everywhere. You would be amazed how far little bits of powder can fly. I'm thinking, what the hell just happened? I'm just cleaning off the bits that aren't supposed to be there. Like, this is what I mean about the halo. I will trim my stamp set so this doesn't happen again. Right, so there I am thinking, what the hell just happened? Where's all that embossing powder gone? So I thought, I must have done something wrong. There must be something wrong with this powder. Perhaps I didn't use the right Versamark. So stupidly I thought I'd do it again. I'll use a different pad. It's obviously lost its stick. And I angled it towards the paper, and again everything shot over the other side of the table. Well, if I had just read the instructions, it quite clearly states you have to heat this stuff different from regular embossing. You have to heat it from behind, as it's so thick, otherwise it can come off your card and you will not be able to emboss with it. So there is a moral to the story. No matter how clever you think you are and how much you think, you don't need to use instructions, because you've been crafting forever. And what do they know that I possibly don't? Yeah, I'm still wiping it off now. I am still finding it everywhere. Right, so I'm going to heat the gun. I'm going to put it behind me, so hopefully, oh, goodness me. So hopefully you don't get to hear it while it heats up. Yeah, so I'm still finding it everywhere. So if you ever use ultra high embossing powder, and it does, it works beautifully. It really comes up a treat. Heat it from behind. You won't be picking embossing powder out of projects for years to come. Right, so, whoop, gosh, being clumsy today. See, I never get tired of this. This is why I continue doing this, even though I hate the feel of embossing powder. It's just gorgeous. Right. Yeah. It was quite hysterical. When I watched the video again, I thought, do I upload this? And I thought, no. But I thought I would tell you. If you could have seen my face. And now you see that come out absolutely awful, because this halo, I don't like it. What I usually do is trim round and at an angle. So if you trim that bit off and at an angle, I wonder if that one's going to be any better. I did have another one. Let me just try this one and see if this one's any better. Sorry guys. Yeah. So I will get round to doing the how to make metallic sentiment dies. They actually look lovely. They really do come up nice. it goes to show how people think, well, how I thought I knew how to emboss with most products. I now think completely different, by the way. Right, that one is better. We'll go with that one. See, I always kind of have one in case. Right, so now we are going to wait for that to cool down, which might be a while, so I might use the other one so we can... Is that one cooled down enough? Yeah. Right, so you're going to put it in your scoreboard and you're going to put it pattern side down, and we are going to score this at 1/4 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch. So I'll just give you 2 lines and you'll see why. Ooh. Why at first I was just literally putting it in for pattern, and so that I could have a line that I could work to. And once you do this, you realise it is actually quite necessary. So there we are. Now I'm not putting up directions on this one because it's all standard card sizes that you will use. So you don't need measurements, you'll just use your standard card sizes. Right, now these lines here, you'll see that there are corners there and there. Now you can either put this into your trimmer. Let me show you. So you are going to put this into the trimmer and you are going to line this corner, which is there, and that one. And the best way to see if you are actually in line is you will see in this gap here, you're on the corner, and that gap there, you're on the corner. Now I'm not going to, well, you could actually do it around that way, you'd be able to see it better. I am just going to show you that you do not need a trimmer. You need a ruler, which you might actually see my head here. Actually, I'm just going to put a little wee dot in the corner. If I was over this, I wouldn't need to do this because I would be able to see, because you get directly over it. And go onto your cutting mat, and you're going to line that knife up onto that corner and that one, and you are going to cut down from one to t'other, just like that. And then you are going to line this one up and that one like that. As I say, you can do this without a trimmer, okay? You don't need one. And if I'm safe with a knife like this, you're bound to be, because I am as clumsy as they come. Surprised I've still got fingers left. Right, so we are now going to put our white piece down, and I'm going to glue this. Just going to glue this down, so you need a line around the edges. You can use tape, or this is probably one of the few times you're going to hear me say this, you can use your fuse, but you'll have to make sure you're off the paper, because we don't want that to interfere with this opening. Okay, there you go. And we should have stamped that before. We should have stamped inside to say enjoy. Right. No, do you know what? For this one, it might just be a case of me writing something on. Because ideally, once you've done this, you don't really want to fold it. But I suppose if you don't fold it, they might not need to go, they might not understand that they need to go there. Right, so you put whatever sentiment you want inside. And I am going to go with whatever stamp I can find, that one. Enjoy. And I'm just going to go like that, which is terrible, but I have a feeling I'm going to be taking this off later and doing it properly, but you get the gist of it. And just randomly dot some around. You'll put more of them around. If you decide that you haven't got the ability, you know, you don't want to waste this, you can just colour this in with any fine liner pen like this, because this one can be a bit tricky to get a completely perfect stamp. Or again, that could just be me. I have got it to stamp perfectly, but when you're not overhead and given the right pressure, it can sometimes be a bit tricky. But there you go. That's how you'd correct it. And we are now going to pop magnets on the back, but first we are going to, what are we going to do? We are going to put them on here first. That's what we're going to do. Right, so let me put it that way for now. Now I get my magnets off Amazon. And there. And there. So glue dot on the back of the magnet. I get mine off Amazon, and I do so by typing in N for Norman 3550 magnets, and then they're the 10mm by 1mm size, and the people who do them is Sodial, which is Sodial. So if you put that in, Sodial N2550, you will get the magnets, and they're 50 for £1.60. Right, so we have put the magnets there, and we're kind of going to position this so when I find my magnets, which I've just attached, you silly Egypt. Right, so you're going to need 4 magnets. I don't think Velcro dots will do this, but you can give it a go if that's what you prefer. So I am just going to stick this down so that at least that is drying. Again, you can use tape. I would suggest a wet glue, because if you're anything like me, you don't always get it on straight. You kind of wiggle it about to make it perfect. My hand-eye coordination can be shocking at times. Right, so I think that kind of looks like the right place to be. So just hold it on, drop these down, and let them find their mate. So now you think, okay, you can move this around and it will move the other ones. Right, so you can either take them off and put a glue dot and put them back on, but I just pop down a bit of glue, and then that will hold them down. So there we are. That, in a nutshell, is how you do the card. I have a feeling I've left something really important out. Right, for now, I am going to just pop some, don't be lazy, I'm going to pop down some decoration for the inside of the card. Do you know, I washed my my stamp cleaning pad the other day, 2 weeks ago. Still can't find where I've put it. Right, so we are going to go with red, which is the real red here. And we are just going to pop some up in the corners, like that. This halo is doing me in. Now next time I use this, just pop it down gently. I will have trimmed these, because that is so annoying. And rather than get a card, another envelope out, which I haven't remembered to do, just stamp along the flap and down there. And that's only if you like decorating the envelopes. You don't have to. You really don't have to. Right. And they are the Stampin' Up! Whisper White, believe it or not. I don't think they look very white, but then Whisper White isn't truly a white colour. Right, so you can snail this down. Let's be brave. How much damage can this do? I like Fuse. I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. I must check the order status just to see if it's not back in stock yet. Right, so leave... This is probably why I don't use it. Leave a small border around. And I will rub that off. Right, so all you'll do is put a small border all the way round. and I will finish rubbing that off later. I must have put the wrong side down. Now this one I am going to use glue because I do not want this coming up. You can use tape, and I wouldn't be too shy on the glue either. Right, so small border all the way around, like so. And just make sure you press that down. Let's just make sure that gives even pressure. And there we are. That, in a nutshell, is how to make these lovely gift cards holders or lottery card holders. So what do you think? I think they're kind of cute. You don't need to put the embossing on. You can just stamp whatever you like on there. You can just stamp black onto there. It would look just as lovely. And again, your sentiment, it is definitely your choice what you go with. So there we are. There are my secret card holders. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give it a go. It's nice and simple. So all you really need is card, stamps, any will do, and either a trimmer or a blade, and you can make these very inexpensively. If you do decide that you would like to purchase any of these, you can do so through my website, and I would then become your demonstrator. That would be lovely. But I will say ta-ta for now. Thank you for spending part of your day with me, and let me know if you need any information or if you didn't understand a part of this. Like I say, it's your standard card colour, card size, so I haven't put sizes down. It's very universal. You could do this on a 3x3, 4x4, 6x6. It's all very simple. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed it. I think they're kind of cute, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Bye for now.